friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, hi. So we're in a bit of a different situation right now. We're in my bedroom because we're gonna be doing a get ready with me today and talking about a little bit of TikTok drama, but also more sort of like the macro reasons behind why it bothers me. This is basically another episode of things in my life I have no one else to talk to about, so I'm going to talk to you guys about it. So if you're interested in that, let's get ready with me and keep watching. The headband is like the most important part of this process. I'm gonna be doing this without my contacts in, so let's see how it turns out. I'm basically blind without my contacts, so we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna be using this. I'm not really gonna tell you the products I'm using as I go, but I'll definitely hold them up and I'll link them down below. So if you like anything, you can go look at that. Today I want to talk about some drama that happened between Michaela Naguero? I swear I know how to pronounce it. Michaela Naguero. This drama happened a couple of weeks ago on TikTok, and it's just something that I think is really interesting. I made a video at the beginning of this year called The Endless Cycle of Beauty Community Drama, I think it's called. And this is a little bit similar to that video. Basically, Michaela Naguero made a video on TikTok comparing the new Patrick Ta eyeshadow to the e.l.f. eyeshadows that have come out, and basically said they were a dupe for one another. And honestly, this whole drama started with her making a video about dupes, and I'm not entirely sure why all of this blew up into big drama, because people have been using dupes and making dupe videos for literally as long as I can remember on beauty YouTube. That's like the biggest perk of beauty YouTube, in my opinion, is people can tell you how to save money and buy things that are similar quality but like significantly cheaper. Her comments pretty quickly pointed out that the Patrick Ta eyeshadows are significantly more expensive because they're made with a lot better ingredients and they're very special shimmer shades. Personally, I kind of would consider them similar to Pat McGrath's shimmer shades. I actually went in and swatched them. I would say they're very similar to Pat McGrath's special shades, if you know what that means. So I feel like the comments were pretty right on that. They are like more expensive because they're better quality, because they're super special and shiny. As a person who loves glitter, I would probably buy these shadows because I'm obsessed with super shimmery, shiny shades, but whatever. A lot of her comments also pointed out that Michaela has been sort of like shilling e.l.f. products a lot lately, and that e.l.f. has really been her #1 thing that she pushes. And given that she has a collaboration with them that she did for her wedding, she did like a wedding lipstick with them, given that, people were definitely like, we feel like you're just shilling e.l.f. to us and you're just comparing things that aren't even really dupes just so you can make money off of it, but like selling e.l.f. products. I don't think this whole thing would have blown up as much if Jeffree Star didn't get involved. Jeffree Star jumped into the mix. If you've been around the channel for a minute, you know I'm not exactly the biggest Jeffree Star fan. He's not my favorite person, but he called Michaela out and basically said that she is, well, he called her Temu Orange Hands, which is crazy. I don't understand how people are like, yes, queen. It's like, no, that's so rude. She literally just recommended the wrong shit, whatever. He pretty quickly called out Michaela and basically was like, you basically are shilling e.l.f. and you only shill e.l.f. to make money, and e.l.f. paid for your wedding. By the way, we have to talk about like the downfall of Jeffree Star at some point, because every time I see him now, I see him on TikTok live shilling products, doing like live shows, like he's a MLM person. And I think that's crazy. Like, I don't understand what's going on with him or how he fell so far. Well, I guess I do understand, but he's fallen off so much. And the only time I ever hear about Jeffree Star anymore is literally when there's drama and he's just calling people out for stuff. So like, keep that in mind as we talk about this. He said all of that on his Instagram live, and then Michaela actually responded, which I thought was interesting because normally she doesn't respond to any sort of hate or backlash. That's kind of been her MO. Like when the mascara gate happened earlier this year, she just never responded to any of that or talked about it. And honestly, I can see that being both a detriment and a positive. I can see the positive in that in the short term, people don't talk about it as much. What I think influencers don't remember when they do fuck shit and they don't talk about it is people remember, and the more fuck shit you do, the more, sorry, I should use a better term than fuck shit. The more sketchy and shady stuff that you do, the more people remember and the more it all adds up. Michaela made a video responding, basically being like, e.l.f. did not pay for my wedding. I don't know why people think that. And basically saying that e.l.f., she makes no money from her videos and that e.l.f. does not cut her a check. She wishes they would, but she's not like endorsed by e.l.f. Jeffree Star made another video talking about her and actually reviewing the e.l.f. eyeshadow eyeshadows, and he basically said that because Michaela makes money on the TikTok Creator Fund, it's a lie and a gaslighting thing to say that she doesn't make money on her videos. And since her makeup collaboration with e.l.f. probably made her a ton of money, e.l.f. probably did end up paying for her wedding via doing that lipstick kit that she did with them for her wedding. So it's like disingenuous to say that e.l.f. didn't pay for her wedding. Michaela hasn't responded, and that's really all it was just dupe drama, like basic beauty guru drama. But I do think it brings up this really interesting question about, actually, I'm gonna use this blush. I'm obsessed with the Patrick Top, sorry, it's a Patrick Top video. I've been obsessed with the Patrick Top blushes again. I've like re-fallen in love with these things. I think that this whole situation really poses a really interesting question about being able to trust beauty YouTubers and beauty TikTokers, and kind of how endorsements work on TikTok, because it's definitely very different than how endorsements used to work in the YouTube makeup scene. I feel like I've said this before, but I'll say it again, the TikTok beauty scene right now is very similar to like 2015, 2016 makeup YouTube. Like we're basically just reliving all of the same scandals and drama all over again. I find this one to be particularly interesting though, because I think it brings up a really good point about, can we actually trust beauty YouTubers and beauty TikTokers? And also, how are they actually making their money, and can we trust their reviews based on how they make their money? So Michaela said that she doesn't have an endorsement with e.l.f., as in e.l.f. doesn't pay her per video to make good reviews on them, basically implying that she has no motivation to give e.l.f. a positive review, and that's just not correct. Like, she does have motivation to give e.l.f. positive reviews, even if they're not sending her a direct paycheck. Her collaboration with e.l.f., she did like a lip kit for her wedding, sold out pretty quickly and did really well for her. I am sure that she made hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, from that lip kit deal. And when you're making that kind of money with a brand, you do have an incentive to want to maybe do another collaboration, so you want to stay in their good graces, so you want to give them reviews. The other part of it is, honestly, you can't really trust most beauty gurus' opinions on brands once they have a personal relationship with them. Once you know the brand owner and you're friends with the brand owner and all of that, you're not gonna go on the internet and shit on their products. Like, you're just not gonna do it. It would be like if you had a friend who had a business and you went on Facebook and shit all over their like products. You would never do that. And this is the problem with beauty influencers becoming friendly with brands, that we tend to get a lot less honest reviews and honest feedback from products. And this wouldn't be a problem if someone like Michaela, and by the way, Michaela is not the only person that does this. She definitely gets the most heat for these things, and that's because she's the biggest beauty guru, but she's not the only person who has affiliations with brands and benefits from lying or giving positive or negative reviews. I think it's important to note that Jeffree Star himself, everyone's always like, he's so honest, he's so real. He has a huge motivation to be negative about other brands to shine a bigger light onto his own brand. Like, nobody ever talks about these things, but most influencers, when they get to a certain level of success, have motivations behind their reviews and how they talk about products. I don't think this would be such a bad thing if influencers were super honest about it and were basically like, in reviews, like if Michaela had done this review and been like, yeah, I have a collaboration with e.l.f. though too. If she just in the beginning of her review was like, I had a collaboration, you guys know I had a collaboration with e.l.f., so I want to test these side by side. Informing the viewer of the bias is the important part, and where continually, time and time again, beauty gurus tend to screw up is by not informing the viewer. It comes off as super shady and super disingenuous to get onto your TikTok account and say that you make no money from e.l.f. and that you wish they would cut you a check when you have made hundreds of thousands of dollars with that brand. That's just a lie. And also, Michaela especially, because she posts so much about these things, has the motivation to give positive reviews from brands for other reasons too. Brands have sent her Chanel bags, she gets to go on trips, and she's like always on a brand trip. Like, she has other motivations for being nice to these brands. She gets a lot out of being nice and giving positive reviews reviews to brands. And again, it's not just Michaela. A lot of these big influencers, they have a motivation and a reason for wanting to be nice to these people because they get a lot of things out of it. And again, if you were in the YouTuber space in like 2016, this is the same old song and dance. This is the same thing. It was influencers going on tripping with Tarte or Benefit brand trips, and then all of a sudden they were obsessed with those brands and only talked about them for like weeks and weeks and weeks because they wanted to go on another freaking brand trip. It's actually sad because Michaela has talked about, and we know that she kind of grew up watching that beauty YouTuber space, and it's upsetting to see that she is making the same exact missteps as people like Jaclyn Hill. She's doing the same thing. She's doing too many collaborations. She's shilling way too many products. She's losing her authenticity because she's constantly posting about designer purchases. She's doing the very classic influencer thing. So the question of the video is, can you trust beauty influencers? Can you really trust them? And the answer, I think, is when they're big enough and they're working with brands like that, not really. I feel like the only way, and this might be shitty for influencers because of the way that the influencer space is set up, where you get all these opportunities. And of course, I think any normal person would want to take those opportunities. Like, who doesn't want to create a lipstick for their wedding with e.l.f.? Like, that's a cool opportunity to get. But it does change your authenticity and your ability to review. And when your entire platform is based on reviewing and giving honest product reviews and honest feedback, then you suddenly can't be trusted anymore. It does kind of ruin your whole brand. I've said this for a while, and I will keep saying it forever. I think that social media influencers sometimes, especially in the beauty space, don't think about the long term of their brand. They see something like doing a makeup collab and they think, oh wow, that'll make me a lot of money. That's a cool opportunity. I'm gonna do that. They don't think, and honestly, doing collabs aren't necessarily an inherently bad thing. The bad thing is doing that collaboration and then getting online and telling everyone you have no motive to lie, which just factually isn't true. You can do it in an authentic way, but most people don't. And I think the problem really becomes you can't trust your favorite influencers anymore. And that does suck. Like, that is a good reason to call someone out and be like, hey, I don't think you should be sending death threats to people over it, but it's a good reason to be like, hey, just so you know, like, I can't really trust you anymore because you're doing all of these brand deals and you're not being super open about it. You're not being honest about it. Like, yeah, that's not really being a good influencer for sure. And honestly, I think it is almost important to call out these things and to call out these biases because I think sometimes people don't know. The reason the FTC is super strict about influencers and making sure they put advertisements and telling people their advertisements, the reason that's the case is because it's a really big problem to not be able to be an informed consumer. I've always said, and if you've been following me for a while, you know this, I always say, I'm like, being an informed consumer is so important. So I think calling out this behavior is important to do because it helps other people become informed consumers. However, unfortunately, a lot of people don't follow that. And a lot of people do not subscribe to the idea that you need to be super open and honest about any sort of affiliations that you have with brands. So it does fall on the consumer to be the smart consumer and be able to look at the different clues that a person may not be as authentic as you thought they were. Jeffree Star, for example, is his own business owner. He does have a reason to lie. Kayla does have like 1,000 collaborations with all these different brands. She has a reason to lie. Alex Earl going on a massive brand trip with Tarte and then constantly promoting Tarte products. She has a reason to lie. It doesn't mean you can't trust anyone. Like, even Jeffree Star said that the e.l.f. eyeshadows were good. He was like, they are a good product. She was right. They are a good product. They're just not a dupe for Patrick Ta. Doesn't mean you can't trust anyone. It just means you have to be a little bit more almost like an investigator of if you can actually trust a person. And that's why a lot of times I think people turn to smaller influencers or smaller creators because I think that you can get at least an honest opinion on what things are. But then the cycle continues because if that small creator gets big enough, they start working with the brands too, and then it starts all over again. It never ends. It's an endless cycle. And no, we can't really trust anyone on the internet, shockingly. Can't really trust any influencers when it comes to these things because most of them have bias. Anyway, that's it from me. I know this is a shorter video, but I just wanted to get on here and talk about this really quick. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you like the little get ready with me. I want to know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this whole drama situation? Can we trust influencers? I love you guys so much. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My social justice spotlight will be linked down below, along with my Instagram and my TikTok. You can go follow those if you want to see some behind the scenes content of my life. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!